The three biggest mistakes CEOs and other high impact leaders make. Now, you can apply and learn from these mistakes if you're any type of leader, whether it's a sports coach, a manager of a business, a school teacher, a parent, a law enforcement leader. These are common mistakes that we all make and all can make. Right? And when I talk about these mistakes, where did this come from? This is from my 20 plus years of business leadership experience, as well as researching for the past 20 plus years, high impact leaders, what they do well and what mistakes to avoid. Now, as I lay out these three mistakes, I will tell you guilty as charged. Me personally, for all three of these mistakes, I have made all three of these mistakes. When I started out as a leader, I made these mistakes, okay? And I can still continue to make them if I'm not careful about what I'm doing. So I'm not judging anyone for making these mistakes. I am simply reporting my own experience and my own mistakes and the mistakes I've seen others make. So, with that being said, let's jump in and I'll also share with you three habits, right? The three key habits that you want to have to be successful, which will essentially remedy these mistakes. Okay, let's talk about mistake number one, which is wasting time and wasting words. This is trying to do everything instead of delegating and saying no. Okay, this is not being crystal clear on your priorities and trying to do too many things. There's a saying you can do anything, but you can't do everything. So you've got to get crystal clear on what the highest impact tasks are for you in your position, and also what you need to delegate and say no to, which is essentially everything else. It's not those highest impact tasks and priorities. So that's crucial. That's wasting time. That's a mistake I see over and over again. Just saying yes too much. The second mistake there I see as part of part one, the first mistake, is wasting words. This means that we're long winded. Okay. We talk about, we're focused on the past too much. We're focused on negativity, meaning venting and complaining. This is wasting words. So, what I teach clients is what I call brief, bright, back to the future, which is brief, meaning get to the point, shorten to the point, bright, meaning positive, solution oriented, improvement minded language. And then back to the future, meaning focus on today. Well, what can we do today and what can we do tomorrow? And let's not dwell and live in the past. A great way to look at this or think about this is the most effective leaders, they live in the windshield, not in the rear view. Right? And the only time they're looking in the rear view is to quickly learn from a mistake they made, or just to celebrate some good successes that we've had as a team. Right? But overall, you want to be in that windshield. You want to be back to the future. The habit that I teach, which remedies this, is what I call master the most important, which is to identify every day what are your top one or two or three most important tasks and get them done. Focus on your highest impact tasks, get them done. Identify your highest impact priorities and goals and get crystal clear on those and say no to almost everything that doesn't help you get closer to those goals. Here's some thoughts from some great thinkers on this habit and also the how to avoid this mistake. And Warren Buffett, one of the most successful business people of all time, he says the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. I just say no to everything that is not moving me toward my one or two most important goals. Here's a quote from Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple. Steve said, the further away that you get from one, the more complexity you add in. Here's a quote from Richard Koch. He wrote a book called The 80-20 Principle. And Richard tells us that very few things matter, but they matter enormously. Concentrate on the things that are most important. That's the essence of the 80-20 principle, to concentrate on the things that are most important. Here's a quote from Jim Collins. He wrote a famous business book called Good to Great. He was also a mentor advisor to Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon. And Jim said, if you have more than three priorities, you have none. Here's a power question to ask yourself. This is from Gary Keller, the billionaire co-founder of Keller Williams Real Estate. Gary asks, what is the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will become easier or unnecessary? Here's two book recommendations. so you can get better at mastering the most important, and so you can avoid wasting time and wasting words. One book is called The One Thing by Gary Keller, and the second book is 15 Secrets Successful People Know About Time Management. Biggest mistake number 2, whining about others. Again, I've been guilty as charged, right? So again, I'm not judging, I'm just reporting. I can do better at this every day, right? This is something I focus on every day to get better at. Now, in particular, CEOs, who are they whining about? Their executive team and or their board of directors, right? This is just, it just happens. And now, again, apply this mistake to anything. You don't have to be a CEO or a police chief or another leader of that impact to make these mistakes in your life. I mean, these are just human mistakes, right? It doesn't matter what position you're in. These are mistakes that we can avoid. Now, what is the remedy to this? Well, practice respectfully giving both giving and receiving direct and accurate feedback. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Respectfully practicing giving and receiving direct and accurate feedback. Respectfully meaning just be honest with people and tell the truth today. Okay, be respectful, be honest. Let people know where they stand. Let people know what you're thinking and feeling, but do it in a respectful way. Okay, and a direct way, and make sure it's accurate. Okay, be accurate in what you're letting your executives know or your board of directors. Okay, board members. Just make sure you're accurate in what you're saying. All right, think it through and get some feedback to make sure that what you're saying is right and correct. Okay. It takes just a little bit of time and a little bit of feedback from others, mentors and advisors to help you work through your thoughts and say, yeah, what you're thinking is accurate here. Have the conversation with your executive or your board about what you're thinking. Now, also, it means respectfully receiving feedback. Okay. So make sure you also receive feedback. Ask people what you could do better. Pay attention when people give you feedback. Go out and get a coach and a mentor who will give you direct feedback. Get feedback from your family on what you could do better. And make sure it's accurate, meaning get it from the key stakeholders in your life, not just anybody. Now, the person you met walking down the street, make sure it's the stakeholders of your life, your family, your friends, trusted advisors, the people that you lead, the people that lead you. Get that feedback. Okay. The habit that I want you to form is what I call making the elevated choice, which is be kind and useful and do hard things. The elevated choice is 2 things, being kind and useful and doing hard things. That's the second key habit I want you to form, to ask yourself, what would the highest and best version of myself do? That's the elevated choice. And it falls into 2 categories, being kind and useful and doing hard things. Let me share with you some thoughts from some more great thinkers. This is from Charlie Munger. He was a vice chair of Berkshire Hathaway. He was Warren Buffett's business partner. The best thing a human being can do is help another human being know more. Here's one of Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon. Here's one of his favorite quotes, and this was his favorite quote on doing hard things. And he got this from John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy said, "We choose to do these things not because they are easy, but because they are hard." Here's a quote from Dr. Stephen R. Covey. He wrote the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Stephen said, "If I were to summarize in one sentence the single most important principle I have learned in the field of interpersonal relations, it would be this: seek first to understand, then to be understood." Here's a quote from James Franklin, the head coach of the Penn State football team. James says, "When someone really cares about you, they will have the hard conversation with you. They will push you outside your comfort zone. They're going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. That's when you have a chance to make an impact in people's lives." And here's a power question by a gentleman named Jerzy Gregorek. He was a strength coach, legendary strength coach. He asked the question, if you were ever at the crossroads of making a difficult decision, always ask yourself, what is the hard choice? Then take that path. Here's 3 book recommendations. One is called The New 1 Minute Manager by Ken Blanchard and Spencer Johnson. Second book is The $1 Trillion Coach by Alan Eagle and Eric Schmidt. And the third book is called The 50th Law by Robert Greene. Biggest mistake number 3, staying an ignorant amateur. What do I mean by this? I heard this term from 2 different people. One was John D. Rockefeller, the legendary entrepreneur, one of the most successful entrepreneurs of all time. And the second place I heard this from was David Ogilvy, who was a very famous, successful marketing executive. Warren Buffett called Ogilvy a genius. And what they were both describing, Ogilvy and Rockefeller, was the ignorant amateur as someone who is not constantly learning about their discipline or field, whatever that is. It could be learning about basketball. If that's your discipline or field you want to get better at, it could be learning to cook better. It could be learning to be a better leader. Could be learning to be a better entrepreneur, a better parent, playing the piano better, a better doctor, school teacher. What they said was don't be an ignorant amateur, meaning you just stay stuck and you stop learning. The professional, the knowledgeable professional, just learns a little bit each day, even just for 5 minutes a day, learning something new about their discipline or field. And again, I'm an ignorant amateur at 1,000 things, at least minimum. Okay. But there's a few things that I've really put a lot of effort into learning about, particularly high performance, leadership, and business. Okay, so I've put a lot of time and effort into these 3 areas. So I'm not an ignorant amateur in those because I've put the effort in to learn. But again, and I was an ignorant amateur at all 3 of those at one point for sure. And there's a lot of things I'm an ignorant amateur at now. So I'm not judging, I'm just reporting. What I challenge you to do is don't be that ignorant amateur. The opposite of that, okay, and this is the 3rd habit I teach, I call it modeling Mount Rushmore. Go out and learn from the best of the best experts and performers in your field. Study and then model how they think, speak, and act. Like that's how you avoid this. You model Mount Rushmore. So my challenge to you is don't be an ignorant amateur. Whatever you do in your life, try to learn a little bit about it each day, even for 1 minute. Read 1 page of a book. Listen to 1 minute of a podcast interview. Ask one person that you respect and admire their expertise and talk to them for a minute and learn something new and then apply it. So the prescription here for this, and this is what I prescribe to clients, you can do it in as little as 1 to 5 minutes a day. When you go pro and you really want to upgrade your expertise, 15 minutes to an hour a day, learning and improving. You can move mountains, 15 minutes to an hour a day. And you're going to improve in 1 to 5 minutes a day. That's improvement. That's progress over perfection, right? Just make progress. Just get a little bit better than yesterday. Get 1% better than yesterday. Here's a few more thoughts. Here's one from Warren Buffett. The best thing I did was to choose the right heroes. Here's another quote from Charlie Munger from his book, Poor Charlie's Almanac. He said, I believe in the discipline of mastering the best that other people have ever figured out. I don't believe in just sitting down and trying to dream it all up by yourself. Nobody's that smart. Here's a quote from Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players and athletes of all time. And he said, my best skill was that I was coachable. I was a sponge and aggressive to learn. Here's a quote from Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, one of the most successful entrepreneurs of all time. Sam said, most everything I've done, I've copied from someone else. And here's your power question from Marie Forleo. Marie asks, how would you behave if you were the best in the world at what you do? I have 2 book recommendations. One is on that mental performance, high performance. It's a book called Relentless Solution Focus by Dr. Jason Selk. I believe he's the greatest expert in the world on high performance and success and happiness. And the second book is by Admiral William McRaven called The Wisdom of the Bullfrog. It's a great book on leadership and performance. And I believe Admiral McRaven is one of the greatest experts in the world on leadership and personal performance. So to review, the 3 biggest mistakes to avoid. Number 1, stop wasting time and words. All right, that's the biggest mistake, wasting time and wasting words. So stop doing that. Number 2 is stop whining about others. That's the second biggest mistake. Too much whining, too much complaining. And mistake number three is staying an ignorant amateur. So, how do we remedy this? I challenge you to identify which one of these three mistakes you need to stop doing right now, which will make a huge positive impact. And I challenge you to pick up the habit out of those three habits that will help us become that high performer we were all born and are capable of being. And the three habits are number one, master the most important. Get crystal clear on your priorities, top one or two or three, and get crystal clear each day on the most important task you need to complete to achieve those goals and priorities. Second habit, I'm going to make the elevated choice, okay, which falls under two categories. Number one, be kind and useful. Number two, do hard things. And then lastly, number three, model Mount Rushmore. That means go and learn from the best of the best you possibly can, the best of the best performers and experts, and then model what they do in your speech, your thoughts, and your words. Do this for 1 hour, 1 minute to 1 hour a day. I wish you an elevated life of success, happiness, and positive impact.